But in 1996, Lorraine found herself back in Scotland, reporting on another devastating news story, the Dunblane massacre.
The 13th of March, 1996, was the worst possible day that you could really ever imagine.
Gunman Thomas Hamilton had opened fire at Dunblane Primary School, killing schoolteacher Gwen Mayer and 16 children, including 5-year-old Joanna Ross.
If you look at this picture here, look at the wee faces, look at those wee angels.
Joanna's mum saw Lorraine on TV and decided she wanted to meet her.
There was just something sort of personal. You could see that she really cared.
How do you get inside the mind of somebody who would do something so terrible?
We met and connected and became friends. She didn't think there was anything that she could possibly do or say that would help, but if just speaking to me was what I wanted and I thought that would help, then she was willing and happy to do it.
The people in Dunblane embraced her.
There was a myriad of reporters who came and talked to them, and maybe some pushing their mics in their face, but here was someone that they could talk to.
Her relationship with the families, and particularly with Pam, continues to this day. It wasn't just a relationship formed by a journalist around a good news story.
The families of the young victims asked Lorraine to read a poem at a memorial service 7 months later.
Although you may not always hear them as they move upon the wings of the wind.
I know she was nervous about it. She asked if she could read the poem in Joanna's bedroom and read it, I think, to Joanna or for Joanna and say, you know, look, is this okay?
Nor may you always see them as they go past on a ray of sunlight.
And that gave her the reassurance to be able to do it.
Be assured they are with you.
The reason we met was because we lost our daughter. But Lorraine has become a friend that I know I will have for life.
Why do you think that Pam Ross felt that connection with you that she clearly, to this day, has?
I don't know, it's one of those, we just really did connect, you know, when I came in and spoke to her, and we just talked and talked and talked for ages, and then Pam Kenny said, do you want to see her? And Joanna was upstairs. I'm so sorry. I promised I wouldn't do this, but never mind.
No, take your time.
So... sorry. And, you know, when I saw her, she was just lying there. She didn't look... She just looked asleep. But she was on her bed in a little white coffin with her wee nightie on, and it was just... You know, anybody that thinks it's a good idea to allow anyone access to weapons that can do that should have been in that room and should have seen that little girl.
There was a moment on one of your visits, I'm told, when Pam asked you to look at the window. Tell me about
gosh, that was... She'd obviously rushed to the window and her handprints were still in the window. And, you know, obviously you're never going to wipe those away. And it was just, you know, it was just brought it home to you so vividly, you know, what they'd lost. And, you know, her whole future, that beautiful child and all of those children.
How did you manage to stay so professional, not just reporting on this appalling event, but also when you had to speak at the memorial? I mean, you managed to stay composed. How did you do that?
The only reason that I didn't break down doing that was, first of all, how dare I? Because, you know, the families were there and, you know, the mums and dads and grandparents and everybody who had lost their children, but also it's because I had been in Joanna's room and I felt as if I'd done it then, you know, and that's when I cried. That's when I cried there. And I knew then that I would be all right. You know, it was almost... And Pam said, you'll be fine. Pam saying to me, you'll be fine. I mean, you know, she was comforting me. How crazy is that? She's just such a brilliant, brilliant woman.
One thing that I think would have struck people is many people may not have even been aware that you used to do that kind of hard news reporting.
I know what you mean. And sometimes, though, it's quite strange because I covered Lockerbie and I was quite young when I did that, and that was a very, very difficult story to do. And I still find it quite strange in some ways that it was after that sort of gave me my break.
Tell me about the moment you heard about Lockerbie. Where were you?
I was at home and I got a phone call from a contact. It was the police had said something's going on. We got there so quickly. We got right up to the nose cone, you know, before they cordoned it off. And the only reason that I think that I didn't just break down, or any of us did, was we had a job to do, but it was just like a disaster film. You know, the rescue services, ambulances, police, with nothing to do because everybody was dead. I mean, they had plenty to do, but there was no one to rescue. It was horrendous.
Do you still get those images? Do you
sometimes
still have
it's not so much those images, although they're difficult. It was everybody in Lockerbie taking their Christmas decorations down because you know it was just before Christmas, and that sort of sense of absolute utter